It doesn't matter how much you make as a barber. The only thing that matters is how much you keep. And in this video, I'm going to cover how you can keep more of what you make without changing anything else. So there's only two ways to keep more money or to save more money as a barber. And that's either make more while keeping your expenses the same, or you can make the same but figure out how do I spend less. And in this video, we're going to cover how to spend less. And I think you'll be surprised at how easy some of the tactics that I'm going to cover in this video are. And the best part is that they probably won't cost you anything. The problem as you start to get success as a barber, really in anything, and I think this is just human nature, you want to reap the fruits of your accomplishments, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you think about it, if you make 100,000 a year, but you spend 150, then every year you're going more poor. And the person that's making 50 grand a year, but only spending, 30 of it, is actually going to be better off financially than you. So it doesn't actually matter what you make. Where you have to shift your attention to, now that you've learned how to make really good money, now how do we keep more of it? Because if every time you make more, you just end up spending the additional income that you're now earning, you're going to end up right in the same exact place with the same exact headaches. And I've done this, which is why I'm making this video. I don't want you guys to do the same thing. What you want to try to do, the best case scenario, is that your income continues to increase while your expenses stay the same, or don't at least increase at the same amount as your income. That way there can be something left over. And what we're talking about with saving money is basically you have your money that you make, that's your income, that's your revenue if you're a business, and then you have your expenses, right? And then you have what's left over. So what you want to, ideally, I think what you want to do is have all of your bills covered with a little bit left over for you to do whatever you want with. You can invest in your future because you're not going to be able to work forever as a barber. So you can think about investing for retirement. You can invest it in yourself and education, whatever you want, right? But if you find yourself at the end of the month after all your bills are paid and you don't have anything left over, then hopefully this will help you. So I'm going to cover two things that may help you, and I've done both of these and they both work really, really, really well. The first one is pretty simple. I got it from this book right here. This is the Profit for Salons book, but there's another book that this is based off of called Profit First. And it's really meant for businesses, but you can do the exact same thing with your personal finances, which is exactly what I did. And the idea is when it comes to spending money, it's like 90% psychology. So if you look in your bank account and you see money, at least this is the way I was. If I looked in my bank account and I saw money, I'm like, oh, I can spend that. And then I would. And then by the time the end of the month comes around and bills are due for next month, where'd all my money go? So the first thing you have to think about with saving money is getting rid of it, not even giving yourself an opportunity to spend it. So what I would suggest you do, this is what I did, is open a bank account with a different bank. So maybe you have your main bank. That's where all of your bills are coming out. That's where your income is going in there. So you have that bank, but you have a separate bank account that's with a totally different company, not even the same bank. And then what you want to do is pick a number, whatever amount you feel comfortable with. It could be as little as, depending on your bank, it could be as little as $5, $10, and then set up an automatic transfer. It has to be automatic, so that way you don't forget about it. You just set up a weekly automatic transfer from your main account to that other bank account that is completely separate. And here's the key. Don't have the app on your phone. Don't check on it regularly to see how much you have in there. And this takes some discipline. This is not going to be easy at first because you might be tempted to spend that money. But the idea is before you even get a chance to spend it, it is being transferred out of your account. Set up a different bank account. Set up an automatic weekly transfer for whatever you want. It could be 5, 10, 20, whatever you feel like you would not miss this, right? And every single week it's happening. And then after 3 months, so 4 times a year, you want to look, then you can spend half of what's in that account. And that's it. And then if you do that for years, you're going to end up saving a ton of money because even though you're allowed to spend half of what's in there, you're not actually, it's going to continue to grow. And hopefully you start to earn more money. So then you can increase whatever the weekly amount is that's being transferred into that. And that way you can always be sure that no matter, even if your income is increasing, so is your saving. It's very uncommon to see barbers bring their lunch to the shop for some reason. Like we have a fridge, we have a microwave, and it almost never gets used. And so every single day I'm seeing barbers go out and drop 10, 15, $20 on lunch every single day that they work, which I know is costing them hundreds of dollars every single month, thousands of dollars at the end of the year. So, I mean, first of all, probably pretty unhealthy to be eating out every single day. I get it though. You want to leave the shop, you want to take a break mentally, no problem with that. But that's costing you a lot of money if every single day you're at the barbershop, you are buying lunch. So I don't suggest doing an extreme change. I think of this more as a transition, but try just one day a week where you bring your lunch if you're not doing it already. If you are, great. But if you're one of those people that buys lunch every single day, then you can automatically save $100 a month extra just by bringing one meal a week. So if you bring your lunch and then try to slowly dial it down to the point where you're almost bringing lunch every single day, and I guarantee you that's going to end up saving you so much more money. And the last thing, this is probably one of the more simple tips that I found to be extremely effective. But if you get cash tips as a barber, which almost all of us do, I don't know if I heard this somewhere or if I made this up on my own, but I basically said, okay, I'm gonna try to save some money, and every single time I get a $1 bill or a $5 bill, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna put it in a shoebox in a safe place in my house where nobody else knows where it is, and I'm just not gonna touch it. But in the same thing for 3 months, I'm not gonna look at it, and after 3 months, I'll go in there and I'll see what I got. Right? You'd be shocked at how much money you could save in such a short amount of time if you just didn't spend every $1 bill or $5 bill you get. At first, I started with ones, so you can do that too. But then I wanted to start to save a little bit more aggressively. So then I started including $5 bills in that. So basically, this is super simple. Don't overthink this. Anytime you touch a $1 bill or a $5 bill, it's off limits. And I didn't just apply this to the barbershop. If I went to the grocery store and I pay with cash, and some of the change that they gave me was in the form of a $1 bill or a $5 bill, automatically in my head, I'm like, that's getting put away, right? And then I will get put in a shoebox or whatever. And then after 3 months, I'll see how much I got. And then I might spend half, I might spend all of it. But I think that's one of the main things. Again, this is a mindset thing, but like sometimes barbers think that cash tips, especially cash tips, are just like free money. No, that's part of your income. You need part of that to pay your bills. So don't just like think that anytime you get a tip, especially if you're used to getting credit card tips, don't think that just because you get a cash tip that's just free money that they can just blow. No, that's part of your income. So you want to treat that the same way, just like you wouldn't, hopefully not spending every single dollar that hits your bank account as soon as you get it, right? Same thing with cash. So for me, it really helped. Every time I saw a $1 bill or a $5 bill, put it away, didn't touch it. And after 2 months of doing it, 3 months, it depends on how busy you are, but you could literally have like $1,000 saved in a matter of a couple months. So a couple of the main things that hopefully you got from this was, if you start to make more money as a barber, try not to spend more. Like, it's okay to, reward yourself for your hard work. You deserve it. But you're going to end up in the same financial position if now you're making $500 more a month than you used to a year ago. And then if you go and buy a new car and that car payment is $500, you're debt to income ratio really hasn't changed. And that's one of the things that the banks look at if you go to buy a house. So try to avoid the temptation. If you start to make more, it doesn't automatically mean that you should spend more, because you're just going to end up in the same scenario where you're trying to save money again. And it's like, because your income, your expenses also increased. And I went over a couple tactics in this video how you can save more, but the idea is, it's, think about it as mostly psychology. Try to find a way where you can take some of what you make and put it away in a way where you don't see it and you're not tempted to spend it. So whether that's opening a new bank account and setting up a transfer, that could just mean that you not eat out 1-2 days a week, or you could go really old school, and every $1 bill or $5 bill you get, you just treat that as untouchable. I'm not spending this money until 3 months go by, and then I'll go in there and see what I have. And this is a little bonus, but I think that social media has really like confused like the newest generation of barbers, because you see, these social media people driving these really, really nice cars and have these fancy houses. But if you read this book, it's called The Millionaire Next Door. If you read that, you'll see that most people, you have to realize that social media is not reality. Most of the people that have money, that are multi-millionaires and billionaires, you would never be able to tell by looking at them. Forget about impressing other people, right? Impress your bank account, right? Try to save money and invest in your future, because you're not going to be able to cut hair forever. So this is a habit to develop now. And if you ever want to open your own barbershop one day, the discipline that you have for your personal finances will be reflected in the business. So if you don't know how to save money for your personal finances, you're also not going to be able to do it when you have a business. And trust me, it does not get easier when you start to make more money. In fact, I think it gets harder, and it requires more discipline, because the more money you make, the more options you have, the more things you can buy, right? So if you can't manage $1,000, how are you going to manage 100,000? How are you going to manage 1,000,000? You have to develop the disciplines now before you get there, because otherwise, when you get there, you're just going to be in the same place, except the numbers are going to be bigger. If you need more help, join my free community. It has other like-minded barbers and professionals like you. I'll put the link in the description below. I hope to see you there.